I grew up wanting to be a doctor for the simple reason that I thought it was a very noble profession and had great social impact. Now, during all of this movement from clinical medicine to public health, and then after NEET, I applied to Harvard for my master's in public policy, was made possible because of fantastic mentors. But all these mentors were men, none of them were women, and hence none of them were Muslim women, which made me just wonder, where are these 100 million Muslim women? I grew up wanting to be a doctor for the simple reason that I thought it was a very noble profession and had great social impact. I got into medical college in Delhi, went to Lady Hardinge Medical College, and had a fantastic time for 5.5 years studying medicine, but also exploring my more creative side, set up the debate society, the magazine committee in college. But I started getting pulled more towards system change while I was in medical college. So there's a subject called preventive and social medicine that's taught to you for 3.5 years out of your 5.5-year course. And that's a subject that really intrigued me. I felt that systems change is really the kind of social impact and scale that I want to work in. So after my MBBS, I found myself working at an international health NGO and then working at Niti Aayog eventually on public health as a young professional. Now, during all of this movement from clinical medicine to public health, and then after Niti, I applied to Harvard for my master's in public policy, was made possible because of fantastic mentors. But all these mentors were men, none of them were women, and hence none of them were Muslim women, which made me just wonder, where are these 100 million Muslim women? It could either be that they have achieved success, but there really isn't a platform to raise their visibility, or it might be that they just aren't represented to the level that they should be. And the issue is actually both of them. We make up 8% of the population, but 1% of, say, the private sector and the workforce in corporate India. And that problem was something that I was thinking about even when I applied to Harvard for my master's. I spoke over there about Indian Muslim women and their health outcomes. But during my first year at Harvard, it was a very interdisciplinary course. So I got to also have a bird's eye view of what's happening in the country, spend some time thinking about what are the bottlenecks. And that's how Led By got incepted in my mind. It's a leadership lab for college-going Indian Muslim women with the very simple but ambitious goal to make our representation in the private sector proportionate to our population percentage. And that's how Led By started. So Led By is a leadership incubator for Indian Muslim women. And when we say incubator, we mean it in two folds. One is in terms of giving them the professional training and professional development that would really help amplify their impact as they become professionals. The second part is a more normally understood aspect of incubator. We are also an incubator for startup ideas to again raise the percentage of Muslim women that are founders. There's never a wrong time to do something that is going to create positive social impact. So regardless of the space-time coordinate we are in, the reason I'm so passionate about Led By is it's working towards empowering a community that so far has been very uncatered to in terms of education and employment opportunities. So for it, one thing that comes to my mind often is the Right to Education Act, right? It made primary education compulsory in our country, and it's been 11 years since that act was passed. So you have this massive cohort of people who've been a generation that's been through an entire RTE phase. But is there a sucking noise being created from colleges saying that, hey, you did your schooling, but there is college that's there, that's accessible, there is the financial, social, and professional support that you need along with going to college that we are providing. And that's something people aren't thinking about. It's a conversation that will for sure be more mainstay a couple of years or maybe decades down the line. But we want to expedite that conversation. Indian Muslim women have the aptitude, have the aspirations, and have the ambition. What they need are another 3 A's. They need avenues, they need agency, and they need access. So when I talk about avenues, I talk about platforms that raise visibility of fantastic work being done by Indian Muslim women as professionals in the private space, in the entrepreneurial sector. So that's in terms of avenues. In terms of access is, do they have or do they know people who hold keys to doors that can open up networks, open up opportunities, which is something that's missing right now. So you have avenues, you have access, and what's again really important is agency, a belief that when you try to do something, you will achieve the obvious or intended results. And a sense of agency can be built by increasing the visibility of people who've managed to overcome obstacles, who've managed to achieve their dreams. I could never see Indians, non-Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, coming to the streets and saying Muslim lives matter. And that is why we need to create this leadership lab where we are able to build internal agency within the community. What was really interesting about the Shaheen Bagh protest to me was I was proved wrong within 6 to 9 months, because they were Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, Parsis, Christians, everybody on the streets saying that Muslim lives matter. It's something that seemed so impossible as a young Muslim woman, and that is what inspired me more and added fire to ZBY's mission, is just knowing that there are a lot of supporters out there. And that's again something else that we've seen over the past year and 9 months that we've been working on ZBY. We've anticipated pushback, but I've mostly only been asked about, hey, what about pushback, instead of somebody actually giving pushback. So this big bad world that we're told is out there is actually not that bad, and there are a lot of supporters out there, and that's how the CA protest ties into ZBY's story. What I personally feel is that it's not a matter of asserting your identity or even figuring out which identity you assert, because there might be days where my Indianness plays out more, there might be days where my female identity plays out more, there might be days, especially on Eid, when my Muslim identity plays out more. It's about knowing that whichever identity I decide to play out or not play out, for whatever reason, it's going to be welcome. Draw parallels to any other movement that depends upon or is around identity. It's not so much as asserting, it's about knowing that the identity would be welcomed no matter how much I want to dial it up or dial it down. Dream big. I wouldn't say go ahead and do it. I think that comes from a position of privilege. It's not easy to go ahead and do it, but we all can dream big. We can all be ambitious. We can all think about creating change that is beyond us.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.